Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video. Of course, continuing on reviewing Halloweenish films, and as I teased in the last review, that's right. Yeah, I'm excited for this one because I'm, of course, reviewing none other than Zombieland. Yes. Okay, first off, I love this movie. It is so good. I really enjoyed this, and I think it's pretty good. It's got a great cast, and the story, yeah, good too. Just it's fantastic. So being directed by Ruben Flesher, yeah, I think I got that right. Who would go on to, of course, direct Venom, the first Venom film. Bleh. And yeah, so okay. So first off, the story. I will read the story, of course. A shy student trying to reach his family in Ohio. A gun bruiser in search of the last Twinkie. Yeah, about a Twinkie. Mention more about a Twinkie later. And a pair of sisters striving to get to an amusement park join forces in a trek across a zombie-filled America. Yep, so basically, even at the start of this movie, literally, the entire globe is populated by zombies. It's practically become the planet of zombies, I guess you could say. Yep, and, only, a few people, have survived the zombie apocalypse, basically. And we have our main cast, of course, and literally there's only like 6 cast members in this, even in the credits, not kidding. So of course we have our main characters. We have Columbus, played by Jesse Eisenberg, who would go on to be Lex Luthor in the DC Extended Universe. Then there's Tallahassee. I wish I could remember how to pronounce his name. Tala. I'm just gonna go with that, Tala. So bear with me. Tala being played by the one and only Woody Harrelson, and we have our the two sisters, the sisters, Wichita, and yeah, I got that right, Wichita. And we don't really know her real name at first, but it is of course revealed at the end of the movie, which I will get to when I come to the end. Yeah, Wichita, played by the one and only Emma Stone, and Little Rock, Wichita's little sister, played by the one and only Abigail Breslin. Yep. So yeah, all 4 of them were so good in this, and of course it starts off with with Columbus. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's his actual name. That's his character's actual name. And, yeah, literally. So, and yeah, I think, yeah, he does come from Columbus, Ohio. And, he basically, is the narrator of this film. It's one of those films, and somebody narrating this at times. And, him being a student and, him surviving the zombies, even at one point in his apartment, literally the name, this girl's name, 46, literally, 406, 46, whatever, and being played by Amber Heard, basically is one of the surviving, people of, escaping from the zombies, hides in his apartment, and it seems yeah, I guess, she kind of bonds with Columbus, and, the next day, because, yeah, she kind of went to sleep and such, and when he wakes up, because he kind of slept too, they were on the couch, he wakes up and, she's not there still on the couch. She turned into a zombie. What happened? We don't see how that happened, but it doesn't matter, so those details. Yeah, yeah, because, Amber Heard does not have a big part in this, so, Anyways, eventually, he does meet up with Woody Harrelson, and What's interesting is, yeah, we get like backstories of these four characters, like, of course, with Columbus, and also Woody, his character, like, he used to have a puppy, Buck. And fun fact, that puppy that was in that appeared in those flashbacks with Woody Harrelson, that's actually Abigail Breslin's dog. So that's pretty cool. Like, Woody Harrelson's character had a bond with that dog, of course. And then of course, of course, Columbus and Tala, they team up together. They get together, and well, basically Columbus hitched a ride with him. And one thing about Tala is he is so good at like killing zombies, basically, like just shooting them. And even, like, say, with vehicles, like, just opening doors and, like, like, stuff like that. Eventually, like, they're at the supermarket, and they do meet with the sisters. And at first, even I was kind of in on this, too. Like, it seemed like Little Rock was bitten by a zombie, and she didn't have that much time left. And somebody had to, like, put her out of her misery, and not become a zombie, you know what I mean? And I think at first Columbus was going to do it, then Tala, and then Wichita was going to do it. And then, it turned out to be all a setup. They took the boys' car, the guys, they took their car, and they took their weapons, and yeah, they basically, like, they tricked them. And their backstory, the sisters, they are two little brats, I should say. You get my point. Like, it shows, like, at a gas station, I think, clearly, yeah, he has to be credited in this. Well, especially, there's so many cast members who played the zombies, like, give me a break. Well, the guy who was running the gas station store, was like saw Wichita, basically, like, she was pretending that she lost her engagement ring and she was gonna be missing her flight. And then the guy running the gas station store, like said that he would contact her and find the ring. And then that's when, a little bit later, well, we see Little Rock, she found the ring, and of course asked, how much she's gonna get, because of the reward of finding the ring. And she got a lot of money, and, well, that was a trick too. So, and they'd have to get more money and such to make their way to, I forget which place they were going, but, So yeah, that's their backstory. And even, like, say, well, Tala and Columbus, they do find another, like, ride to ride in, like a yellow Jeep, Homer, basically. And even, like, Tala, like, spray painting it as number 3, like, labeling it as his own vehicle. And, well, at one point, they do come across that car that they first were driving in, and it was stolen by the sisters. And it was a setup too. They got them again, and a little bit later, because they, like, things kind of seemed to settle between all of them. And even, like, a mentioning of Columbus's home, Columbus, Ohio. Like, well, Wichita kind of, like, said this, that, that Ohio was burned and the zombies invading it. And, well, because that's where Columbus was born and raised. Like, that's where he lived, and it seems like, yeah, his family was killed. So, murdered by the zombies, of course. And eventually, like, they do, of course, come to this, like, Indian, like, themed hotel, I want to say, or store. And that's when, at one point, well, even Columbus starts to grow feelings, like, have feelings, of Wichita. And that's when, at one point, while they're in the store, they just start breaking things. And when they're on the road, like, at a time, like, one of them is driving the car, and just they're just talking about a bunch of stuff, like different music playing on the radio. Even, like, one of them was ad-libbed, and that was with Little Rock, Abigail Breslin and Woody Harrelson. They were, like talking about Hannah Montana. That was ad-libbed, and that's what I read. So, and yeah, and also they do at one point, like, they make their way to California, Hollywood, and yeah, I think that's where in the backstory of the sisters, that's where they were heading to, yeah, and but they're really heading to an amusement park called Pacific Playland. That's their destination, but they, of course, yeah, they make their way to California, and they wound up at like hiding at a mansion, which turns out to be, and one of the highlights of this film, it's the mansion of Bill Murray. Yeah, Bill Murray's cameo in this. Like, yeah, it's one of the highlights, and yeah, I can tell. Like, and when I watched it for the first time, yeah, it was a great sequence, and with Bill Murray being in this, at first, like, okay, there's like Bill Murray, like, you don't see Bill Murray in the mansion. Even Little Rock, she doesn't know who Bill Murray is, even when Tala, he mentions like Gandhi as well, and like Little Rock's, who's Gandhi, and Wichita's like is saying to him, she's 12, so it's true, yeah, of course, yeah, she's 12. That's when even like Columbus at one point, because they kind of split up in the mansion, Columbus and Little Rock, and then of course Wichita and Tala. Columbus and Little Rock, they come across a home movie theater, in the mansion, and they start playing Ghostbusters. Yeah, and like I was like getting into it, like, of course, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Like, yeah, like that's one movie, to watch, and like watch it if you've never seen anything of Bill Murray, then Ghostbusters is a definite recommend. You know what I mean? Even when at one point, like, we do see that Bill Murray, he was kind of like, I guess, passed out on his bed or whatever, I don't know, and he wakes up and he gets up and he does come face to face with Wichita and Tala, and turns out, yeah, Bill Murray is not a zombie. He's pretending to be a zombie, even wearing a hairpiece, to blend in with the zombie crowd. Smart thinking, yeah. Good thinking, and so on. And like funny moments, like in a montage with Bill and Woody and Emma Stone, their characters. Even like, say, they dress up as the Ghostbuster characters, reenacting the scene with Slimer, circling the chandelier. There's that. Don't cross the streams. And while we cut back to Columbus and Little Rock, they're watching Ghostbusters. Well, even at one point, like, Bill was going to greet Columbus and Little Rock, and yeah, what was Bill thinking? He was he was acting like a zombie, and Columbus accidentally, like, misunderstandably, like, shot him, and and there's like one funny ad lib from Bill Murray, like when Little Rock asks him, "Do you have any regrets?" And Bill's like, "Garfield, perhaps." Those are his last words. A nod to when he voiced Garfield the cat. So, yep. Probably, like, yeah, like, I guess it's true, like, Bill Murray regretted doing the Garfield films, but hey, I don't think he was bad at doing Garfield. I think he did pretty good. So, hey, like, Garfield, he's like a lazy cat or something. You get my point. Just, like, I think, yeah, Bill Murray really fit the role well. Like, did pretty good as Garfield. So, anyways. And it's kind of funny because, like, when, like, Bill, like, his last breath, like, it kind of keeps going and going. But then he, of course, does die. And all four of them, they have a little, like, funeral ceremony. And it's like they just, of course, they put his body in a sack or whatever, like his shoes kind of showing, and they just like toss him. Okay, well, if that's how they're doing it, fine. And then, of course, later in the mansion, like, there's more bonding between all four of them, and even when, like, say, Tala's having a target practice and Little Rock joining in, and see, yeah, even, like, say, a moment between Wichita and Columbus, having, like, a wine, and it seems like, yeah, they're just about to kiss and so on when Tala comes in and interrupts the whole thing. Then the next day, well, the sisters, they ditch them once again. Why? Because of what happened last night? Like, I don't know, and especially for Wichita and Columbus? I don't know. Whitaker? No. Whitaker. I don't. Wichita. I believe, yeah, they're saying Wichita. So just bear with me. And yeah, and of course, it seems like even like Tala and Columbus, they were going to go their separate ways, but no, it's because, well, Columbus was gonna go, was just, he didn't care, he was gonna go be with Wichita. And, well, the sisters, they made their way to Pacific Playland at the amusement park, and, you know, Wichita activates everything of the amusement park, all the power and so on, and I was thinking, okay, this is gonna draw a lot of zombies, and of course it does. So, uh-oh. But of course, and yeah, of course, like Columbus, he was gonna go out by himself to catch up with them, and of course Tala, he does join with him, and they go and like save the sisters, and yeah, the sisters fighting the zombies, and eventually the boys, they come in, and like they're all fighting the zombies, like yeah, and it seems like there was a moment where it seems like they were going to lose. Like, I think even the music too was kind of giving you that thought, that feel that, oh, are they gonna lose or something, like that kind of moment. But no, because even when like Tala, he locked himself up in, you know, one of those like prize boxes, you know what I'm saying, with the plushes. He closed the cages, you know. And he shot them with, you know, pistols, and boy, he managed to kill all of them that were surrounding that box, you know. And even yeah, at one point Columbus, like, going into a spooky house, a haunted house, you know, those, and even like one of Columbus's fears, I almost forgot to mention this. One of Columbus's fears was clowns, and he comes face to face as he's about to go and save the sisters that were trapped on those like drop kind of rides, you know, those. He comes face to face with a clown zombie. Yeah, because that makes it all worse. A clown zombie, and being played by Derek Graff. Yeah. And when looking at the credits, yeah, he is credited, like, you know, one of the 6 cast members. So, of course, yeah, Columbus does defeat the clown zombie with a mallet. Like, you know, you hit the ball, like, you know, it goes up and hits the bell, that. So, like, he kills the clown, and even, like, say, crushing it, like, smashing in the face, and you hear the clown nose honk. That was pretty funny. Makes sense. And then, of course, yeah, finally, like, Columbus and Wichita, they do kiss, and then she reveals her name to Columbus. It's Krista. So, yeah. And it does, of course, have a happy ending to it. Well, another thing is I forgot to mention, Tala, we find out more about his backstory. He didn't actually have a puppy named Buck. He had a son, and unfortunately, yeah, he lost his son to the zombies. Very sad for him. And throughout the film, he was so desperate to find Twinkies, and he finally did at, you know, Pacific Playland. But, you know, unfortunately, when they were kind of scared of something in the back room, he shot the door, like, you know, and it turns out there were just rats coming out when they opened the door, and he shot the Twinkies, like, But of course, it seems like, well, the sisters are probably ditching them again, but no, I think they were just teasing. They were just teasing them, and Little Rock happens to have, you know, a one Twinkie and throws it to Tala. That was really sweet right there. And hey, that shows you they're now a family. So yeah. Yeah, and what a way to end the film, because they all get in the van and they drive off, and one more zombie coming up to them and like Tala, like, just opening and closing the door, like, hitting the zombies. So, there was another thing that I almost forgot to mention, too. Like, at times, and as I said, Columbus, narrating this film, there were these rules, rule number 7, rule 34, and, like, one rule being, do not be the hero, but, like, altering it to be the hero. Columbus being the hero to save the sisters. So, yeah, pretty funny. So, yeah, Zombieland, I'm telling you, what a good movie this is. I really enjoyed it, and definitely, because I think, yeah, it's in my top favorite, like, Halloweenish films, horror films, you get my point, because really, I think it's really good. And here's another thing, because, like, fun facts about this, like, I'm reading this, the script, originally, a television pilot, was heavily revisited to be, revised, to become a feature film. Yeah, and good thing, too. And also, yeah, director Ruben Fleischer has said that he was inspired to make this by Shaun of the Dead. That's pretty interesting. And also, I think, yeah, this movie, I think it also inspired, it had something to do with Left 4 Dead, that video game, so with zombies. And also, this film was shot in, I'm reading this, like 42 days. Pretty impressive. Even at one point, like, Woody Harrelson, he got arrested at one point for marijuana possession during filming, and that delayed shooting for a day. Like, okay, like, I think there was something of that in the movie, if I recall, and I think it had to do, say, with, I don't know, no, I think it was probably weed or something, like, one moment, like, in Bill Murray's mansion, like, with, Wichita, now, we can call her Krista, and Tala and Bill Murray, they're doing something with weed, so, but yeah, and there's, like, one more extended, like, scene, after the credits finish, there's one more scene with Bill Murray, yeah, an additional scene, like, it was an outtake. I figured it was an outtake, so that was pretty funny. I'm giving this movie a 10 out of 10, definitely, because I really enjoyed this. And what about you guys? Like, if any of you have seen Zombieland, like, what did you think of it? And what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review a like as always. So if that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Zombieland. Again, 10 out of 10. More reviews coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review. And of course, continuing reviewing Halloweenish films, and the next Halloweenish film that I'll be reviewing, another film celebrating its anniversary, and let's just say it has to do with Daniel Radcliffe being, coming face to face with a woman in black, and there were a lot of jump scares. Yeah, you probably know what I'm talking about, so stay tuned for that. So, yep, take care, and until Zombieland Double Tap, peace out.